Hey guys, I am Hawk. Welcome back. Thank you for watching. Today we're going to talk about an article from yesterday's Miami Herald, along with an FBI 302 interview report involving Jeffrey Epstein, the initial Palm Beach, Florida investigation into him, things that happened with that investigation, and the fact that Donald Trump called the Palm Beach chief of police in 2006 and told him that he knew what Jeffrey Epstein was doing with minors and teenage girls. Donald Trump has consistently denied ever having any knowledge that Jeffrey Epstein uh, was a pedophile, was engaging in sex crimes with minors. In 2006, he called the chief of police in Palm Beach, Florida, near Mar-a-Lago, and told him that he knew what Jeffrey Epstein was doing. And so we're going to talk about that. First, this article in the Miami Herald is called Trump Told Palm Beach Police Chief Everyone Knew About Epstein and that Ghislaine Maxwell was evil. That is according to a phone call Trump made to the chief of police in 2006. This article, and this part is very important, this article was written by a woman named Julie K. Brown. Julie K. Brown did another series of stories on Jeffrey Epstein in 2018 and into 2019 that led to a renewed investigation into Jeffrey Epstein with his eventual arrest in 2019, shortly before his death in a New York City prison cell. I lost the cover of her book. I have her book about this. It's called Perversion of Justice by Julie K. Brown. I highly recommend this book if this is a subject that you're interested in. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go through a couple of things in this article, and then I'm going to go through this FBI 302 interview report. This report is an interview that the FBI conducted with a guy named Mark Reiter. Let me double check. Michael Reiter, Reiter. He was the chief of police of the Palm Beach Police Department back in 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, in that range. As part of their 2019 investigation into Jeffrey Epstein that led to a renewed indictment and his arrest before his death, in conjunction with that 2019 investigation, the FBI interviewed Mark Reiter. This is the 4-page report from that interview. In that interview, former Chief Reiter recalled multiple phone conversations and other things that had taken place back in 2003 to 2006, 2007, in that range. From the article by Julie K. Brown, President Donald Trump has repeatedly maintained that he had no knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's sex crimes. But in July 2006, just as Jeffrey Epstein's criminal sex charges became public, Trump called then police chief, sorry. Trump called then Palm Beach Police Chief Michael Reiter to tell him that Epstein's activities with teenage girls were well known, both in New York and in Palm Beach. Everybody knew. Every single fucking one of them knew what Epstein was doing. Every single one of them. Bear in mind that that birthday book that Donald Trump had, that thing, the outline of the teenage girl, and wrote that stuff out for Jeffrey Epstein from his birthday, that was from 2002. That birthday book was from 2002, 4 years before this. Trump said to Chief Reiter at that time in July 2006, "Thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone knows he's been doing this," Trump told Reiter. The interview between the FBI and Mark Reiter was conducted in October 2019 and not previously reported, has shed new light on Trump's involvement in the early stages of the 2006 Jeffrey Epstein investigation into Palm Beach, Florida. It also raises questions about how much Trump knew about Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's crimes. Reiter told FBI agents that Trump revealed that Epstein's associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, was Epstein's, quote, operative, close quote. And Trump said, quote, she is evil and to focus on her, close quote, according to the report. Trump told Reiter that he was around Epstein once when teenagers were present. Now I'm going to switch over to this 302 report, which is the FBI's October 2019 interview with Mark Reiter. Prior to beginning this interview, Mark Reiter was served with a subpoena requesting his participation in this interview and that he turn over materials in his possession pertaining to this investigation. Mark Reiter then turned over to agents 2 boxes containing case-related materials that Reiter states he recovered from the deceased case detective. The deceased case detective was a guy named Joe Recarey, Recarey. He was the lead detective on the Palm Beach Police Department investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. He died in 2018 of natural causes. And when his widow was cleaning out their house, she found 2 boxes with Epstein-related materials, and she gave them to Chief Reiter, and he gave them to the FBI. Reiter stated that in one of the boxes was an imaged copy of Jeffrey Epstein's kitchen counter laptop that had phone messages that Reiter had not seen before. An employee had apparently been stealing from Epstein, and Epstein called the Palm Beach Police Department. This is how Mark Reiter met Epstein. Can you imagine the balls on this guy? The things that he was doing inside his house, one of his employees was stealing from him, so he called the police. And they came to his house. Epstein donated $40,000 to Palm Beach Police Department to help purchase a machine that helped Palm Beach Police Department review security footage. He also wrote a check for $90,000 to help them purchase a fingerprint machine, an AFIS terminal, AFIS. This was around the same time that Epstein's first victim had come forward to the Palm Beach Police Department, and he donated $130,000 to him. Reiter did not cash this second check. It was very common for Baltimore Police Department to receive donations from the wealthy like this. Epstein donated to the Police Scholarship Fund for Children. He donated more than others. Reiter asked someone who Epstein is. That person said that Epstein supports law enforcement and is an important guy. Palm Beach Police Department checked him out and saw a New Yorker article about him. I think that was from 2002. That was the article in which Donald Trump was quoted as saying, Epstein's a great guy. He's a lot of fun. He likes women as much as I do. Many of them are on the younger side. We get to that in the article in just a moment. Reiter became the police chief in 2001. In the early 2000s, maybe 2003, a call came into the tip line that attractive women were coming in and out of Epstein's home. Palm Beach Police Department did surveillance on Epstein's house on 2 separate occasions. Women were stopped. 2 women were stopped. They were both students of redacted name of a school. Both were adults, presumably 18, and said that they were working for Epstein. The stepmother of the first victim, whose name redacted, thought that her daughter was the one, or thought that someone else was the one who made her come forward. There are some redactions that make some of these sentences a little tricky to read. Agent note, blank last name was blank. The stepmother called and said her daughter was having sex with a man in Palm Beach. They were brought into the precinct and she said, I'm not the only one. There are other girls doing it. This case was assigned to presumably Detective Recarey, that name is redacted, who interviewed this young woman a few days later. The case started to grow rapidly. Blank's experience inside the house was then corroborated. More surveillance was done on Epstein's house. Some kids were observed, prepubescent with braces and backpacks, coming from school. Aviation personnel spoke with Palm Beach Police Department about who was coming and going. One employee said there were dozens of girls in one day. The Palm Beach Police Department then put together a case and brought it to the state's attorney's office. At this point, Reiter believed that the state's attorney's office was already in communication with the defense, with Jeffrey Epstein's defense attorneys. Reiter spoke with the state's attorney with whom he had a good relationship. Reiter was to get a detective to speak with the sex crimes unit on who to use. When the state's attorney asked who the case was about, blank never heard of him. Then, after he spoke with the defense, the state's attorney told Reiter to write Epstein a notice to appear for a misdemeanor, lewd and lascivious behavior. Reiter debated on whether to arrest Epstein on probable cause, but said it would be problematic with the state's attorney. Palm Beach Police Department tried to keep the case very tight. They would type up their reports and save them on a hard drive, which they would put in a safe. They would not input these reports into the computer, into the network that would be accessible by other people. They had sexual battery cases against the co-conspirators. This was in 2005, 2006. They had sexual battery cases against the co-conspirators 20 years ago. When Palm Beach Police Department presented it, the state's attorney would not approve the case. The state's attorneys said the victims were not credible and would show their MySpace pages and such. They, being the defense, would refute details in the probable cause affidavit. Reiter thought that their reports had somehow been leaked by the state's attorney's office. Reiter thought the defense attorneys thought they weren't doing enough to talk them out of it. This case died at the state level. Reiter then wrote a letter to the state's attorney asking him to recuse himself. After this, private investigator began harassing and playing games with Reiter. Epstein had blank go to Reiter and tell him, "These girls are just prostitutes. These are just happy endings. These are minor cases." No pun intended. Private investigators began pulling the police officers' trash. They started going through the trash of the police officers. About 6 months after Reiter retired, he was contacted by a private investigator who was represented by attorney blank. He told Reiter that he had some safety concerns for him. Reiter was told that Igor, Epstein's trainer, recently purchased a townhouse redacted, so presumably near where Reiter lived. Reiter received a call about a target letter that he had received. This individual, let me start that over. Name redacted. Name redacted received a call about a target letter that he had received. A target letter is a letter that a subject receives from the Department of Justice or from a US attorney telling that person that they are the target of an investigation by that US attorney. So blank received a call about a target letter that he had received. This individual told blank that he doesn't have to worry about Epstein because Epstein is not in Palm Beach anymore and that he had sold his house. Reiter stated this was not true and it was a weird call. Palm Beach Police Department referred this case to the FBI and introduced the victims to the FBI. Everyone was very motivated. Eventually, there was a lack of communication. Reiter heard there was a discussion of a plea deal or a non-prosecution. Reiter asked to speak to the US Attorney Alex Acosta. Reiter asked him if he was going to own up to what he promised when he was sworn in. Acosta said that Alex Acosta went on to become Donald Trump's Secretary of Labor during his first term. Acosta said the defense had him very frustrated with the case. He said that there was a lot of interest from higher up, presumably higher up in the DOJ. The state did not want to take it back, the case. It took months to convince them to take it back. It was very disappointing that the system failed in this case. Reiter was told that the non-prosecution agreement would include a fund for counseling and medical care for the girls. There was a hurry to make this case go away. After returning the $90,000 check, after giving the $90,000 check to Chief Reiter, Epstein came back to Reiter's office. He talked about Harvard donations. Epstein just wanted to know about blank. It was like he was sizing Reiter up. Afterwards, Reiter walked with Epstein to the lobby, and blank was there. She was like a statue. Palm Beach Country Club is a Jewish country club. A lot of wealthy people are there, and they flock together. Mar-a-Lago is a mixture of everyone. Donald Trump told Reiter that he threw Epstein out of his club. Trump called Palm Beach Police Department to tell him, "Thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known he's been doing this." Trump told him people in New York knew Epstein was disgusting. Trump said Ghislaine Maxwell was Epstein's operative, quote, "She is evil and to focus on her," close quote. Trump told Reiter that he was around Epstein once when teenagers were present, and Trump got the hell out of there. Well, we know that's a fucking lie. Trump was one of the very first people to call Palm Beach Police Department when people found out that they were investigating Epstein. No one could explain how Epstein made his money. They knew he worked for Bear Stearns. Reiter was told that Epstein was some kind of technical guy that would make it happen, but didn't want to know how. But you didn't want to know how. None of the victims that Palm Beach Police Department spoke with said they had sexual contact with other men other than Epstein while in Epstein's orbit. Blank had one time run out screaming. Prince Andrew was a fixture in Palm Beach, and he had no protection while there. Reiter has done interviews in the past with blank. People/victims thought that Palm Beach Police Department was paid off by Epstein, which was why blank went and did these interviews. He felt he needed to defend Palm Beach Police Department. An interior designer told the Palm Beach Police Department that rooms in the Virgin Islands, Epstein Island, had been decorated for teenage girls. Reiter contacted the Virgin Islands Police Department, but they weren't helpful. In the end, Epstein turned himself in to plea to a misdemeanor. Reiter was not notified and found out about the plea deal in the newspaper. Back to the article. It's just so many opportunities. So many opportunities to stop him. So picking up. All of this stands in sharp contrast to what Trump told reporters in July 2019 when he was asked if he had any knowledge that Epstein had molested girls. No, I had no idea. I had no idea. Chief Reiter, who retired as chief in 2009, confirmed to the Miami Herald that he was interviewed by FBI agents in 2019. He said the conversation with Trump happened in July 2006. The information about Trump's 2006 comments comes as Ghislaine Maxwell was summoned to appear by video yesterday, Monday, February 9th, before the House Oversight Committee. Maxwell, 64, is serving a 20-year sentence for child sex trafficking. She was convicted of 6 felonies, including child sex trafficking, related to her and Epstein's sex abuse of minors. Today, she invoked her Fifth Amendment right not to testify before the committee, although her lawyer noted that she is prepared to speak fully and honestly if granted clemency or a pardon by President Trump. Trump has not said whether he would or would not pardon her. When asked about her arrest in July 2020, Trump said, "I just wish her well, frankly." She was indicted for child sex trafficking. Maxwell's attempts to appeal her conviction have been unsuccessful, but she has filed a legal petition, a habeas petition, arguing that her trial is unfair and that she should be released. The circumstances behind Reiter's 2019 FBI interview have also not been reported before. The FBI agents came to Palm Beach at the former police chief's request to pick up 2 boxes of Epstein case files that were found at the home of deceased Detective Joe Reiter, the lead detective who handled the case. Detective Reiter, 50, died of natural causes in May of 2018, and his widow moved out of the area. Reiter notified the FBI after the boxes were returned to him. He told the FBI that one of the boxes, okay, we talked about that a second. The interview was 4 pages long, set up the surveillance. In March 2005, Palm Beach police received a call from a woman that her 14-year-old stepdaughter had been molested by Epstein. Upon interviewing the girl, she told them that other girls were being sexually assaulted as part of an organized scheme in which high school girls were being recruited to give Epstein massages that led to assault and at times even rape, according to Reiter's account, which is also backed up by court files, multiple civil cases. Quote, more surveillance was done on Epstein's house, Reiter told FBI agents. Some kids were observed prepubescent with braces and backpacks coming from school. Case was turned over to Miami US Attorney's Office in early 2007. Epstein hired a team of high-powered attorneys and private investigators whom Chief Reiter said followed him and other police officers assigned to the case, picked through their trash in order to find something they could use to discredit them. Epstein lived less than a mile from Mar-a-Lago, and around 2000, Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's former girlfriend, recruited then 16-year-old Virginia Jeffrey, who worked at Mar-a-Lago's spa as an attendant. Jeffrey, who died by suicide last year, has said that Maxwell approached her while she was working at the spa and offered her a job as a masseuse for a wealthy man. It was Maxwell who introduced her to Epstein. Trump has said that he banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago after learning he was trying to steal his employees, but the president has consistently denied any knowledge of Epstein's crimes. 2002, in an interview with New York Magazine, Trump called Epstein a terrific guy and noted, quote, it is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side, close quote, from 2002, the same year as the birthday book. In 2019, Epstein also wrote an email in which he said of Trump, of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop. The email was contained in a cache of documents the House Oversight Committee obtained from Epstein's estate pursuant to a subpoena in December. Chief Reiter told FBI agents that by 2007, he became troubled by the fact that federal prosecutors had still not arrested Epstein, so he requested a meeting with then U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta to find out why. And we talked about that in the report. Shortly after his meeting with Acosta, he then found out on television that Epstein had been given federal immunity. That was part of the plea agreement. Epstein pleaded guilty to 1 count of solicitation and 1 count of solicitation of a minor for prostitution, a plea deal that state attorneys were not advised of beforehand, Palm Beach Police Department was not advised of beforehand, and the victims were not advised of beforehand. And it was actually against the law for Alex Acosta to exclude the victims from that plea deal process. And he was supposed to get their permission, basically, and inform them of everything, every step of the way. And they found the victims found out about the plea deal on the news, just like Chief Reiter did. Alex Acosta didn't tell any of them about it ahead of time. Federal prosecutors gave Epstein federal immunity in 2007 in exchange for him pleading guilty in state court to 2 counts. He served 13 months in the Palm Beach County Jail, not even prison, a county jail, most of it on work release that allowed him to leave the jail every day to go to his office in West Palm Beach. In 2018, the Miami Herald published an investigation into the case called Perversion of Justice, which then became Julie Brown's book, Perversion of Justice. which detailed how Epstein and his lawyers were able to convince federal prosecutors to limit the scope of Epstein's crimes to just one case involving one 16-year-old girl. At the time, they had nearly 40 underage victims. 40. US Attorney Alex Acosta. Mark Reiter said he was devastated upon learning about the plea deal. I don't even have words anymore, man. I don't even have words. They could have stopped him in 2007. The original draft indictment, which is pinned to the top of my YouTube page, was a 32 count indictment. It's 56 pages long. It would have gotten Epstein somewhere between 240 years in prison and 24 consecutive possible life sentences. They could have stopped him. Instead, they let him go back out and do what he was doing for another 12 years. So I guess for today, fuck you, Alex Acosta. If you enjoyed this video, I mean, because what's not to enjoy? Or if you appreciate this video, please click like, leave a comment, and please subscribe to my page. If you have any questions or anything, please leave them in the comments, and I'll try to answer them. I'm going to go take a shower now because now I feel gross.